All right, what's up? What's up? It's your boy Corey B. So today I want to talk to you about time. The reality is that it's something it's far too frequently undervalued. We just don't realize how important our time is, our moments. We're brought up in a society, right? In this society, in America, actually in many societies around the world, it's not actually an uncommon thing. Just America, it's actually within different countries, there's different, pay rates and different ideas of how wages and wealth is acquired and things like that. But ultimately, when it comes down to it, this is not a common thing to trade time for dollars. It's not. And it's the society that we're raised in. It's the structure of how we do things here. We trade our time for dollars. We trade hours for money, minutes for money. And the thing is money is not a problem. Money's not a problem. Money's a necessary tool. It's a tool that ultimately we need in order to take care of our families, in order to get our home, in order to, keep the heat on and the lights on and, keep food on the table. Now, there's different people who have these ideas that, these things should be provided for you. The reality is these things don't come from nowhere. They're provided somehow. And there is a cost for these things. And you can go back in, decades, centuries, and you can see things have always been bartered, traded, sold. This is not an uncommon thing. And still today, we still practice these same things. We do it on different scales and we do it for different monetary values, but ultimately we're still doing it. And the difference, the big difference that we do today is it's time. Time for dollars, right? You look back, ancient times, right? People would grow their own crops. People would have their own trades or skills, and they would trade what they had for what they needed. Well, I've grown all this grain, so I'm going to trade you some grain for some cattle. I'm going to trade you some cattle for some metal. I'm going to trade you some metal for tools, right? I have the metal, but I don't have the ability to make the tools out of it, or I have the grain, but I don't, it's like you trade a skill set for the things you need. You trade the things you have for something else you don't have. In today's modern society, we trade our time, and it's something we can't get more of. This week, me and Kimberly, my lovely wife, I'm so incredibly blessed to have Kimberly. She's the most, just amazing, beautiful. Gosh, she's the most gorgeous woman. She's funny. She's smart. She's just special. She's got these eyes that have this ability to just pierce all the way into my soul. I'm very blessed to be so in love with such an amazing woman. This week we got to celebrate our 11th anniversary, and we don't get too many date nights, especially in the last 2 years. Like back home, I had two cousins who would often help us out from time to time, watching the boys. They'd keep an eye on the boys so that way we could, go out here or there, do something fun. I had a buddy, hung out with my daughter once, and they watched the boys, and it's just, we had a little help here, a little help there. It wasn't consistent, but we occasionally got some time out, and we also occasionally just had that opportunity, where they went to bed and they were younger. They slept more hours, right? Any of y'all parents out there, y'all know how little ones, it's not uncommon for them to sleep 14 to 16 hours a day. Now, when me and Kimberly are both running constantly, right? We're working full-time jobs plus trying to develop a business on the side. She had her bookkeeping business while she was being a nurse. I was working as a shipping and receiving manager at a music store back in Austin while I was growing my investment business on the side, my coaching business, and even continuing to, side hustle with a reselling business that I'd just been doing for so long that why quit, right? So it's like, but all this stuff took a lot of my time. It took a lot of her time. So even when we tried to have those nights where we're like, man, the boys are crashed. It's 8 o'clock. Let's enjoy. Let's open a bottle of wine. Let's have some, let's watch a good movie together, or let's just spend some time in a good devotion together, or let's just shut everything off and just have a nice talk. Just some me and Kimberly time. The thing, you feel tired because you're running so much, right? And in the society that we live in, it teaches that. And the thing is my mom was pretty entrepreneurialistic at times. She had owned multiple businesses. My dad was a hard worker. But as entrepreneurialistic as my mom was at times, she was just more of a worker. She really was. Those businesses that she had at different times in her life, I don't even understand the whole story behind it. I wish I could talk more to her about it now. But it's like, my mom taught me, you work hard. You be a dedicated, person to the company you work for. You give all you've got. If you're going to do something, you do it all the way. My mom did that. Kimberly's dad, God, he was a hard worker, and he was devoted. Everybody in the company knew him. Everybody knew who he was. Everybody knew they could count on him and trust him. They knew that they could depend on him, not just personally, but professionally. He was going to get things done, right? And that was the work ethic that he instilled in Kimberly, and that's the work ethic my mom instilled in me. And we grew up working. Even when we launched our businesses, we gave our all to our business. And there was times, it was Kimberly that kind of changed my mindset for that, because I watched how people would take advantage of that dedication of hers. They took advantage of it from me too, but I just never thought nothing of it. They'd be like, oh, Corey's gonna get this done, I got you. They would just, hey, tell Corey. And it's you have those people that you work with that you just know that you could just go to, right? I've had people I could felt that way with. But I always tried to be more mindful when I was going to other people. Sometimes we get in that comfort level where we take advantage of people too, But like I said, Kimberly, it was when I began dating Kimberly that I watched her running her own business, being highly demanded by her clients. And they would just demand so much of her, and this bothered me. This got to my heart, because I just looked at her and I was like, man, this woman is amazing. And she's so dedicated. She's such a strong work ethic, more than so many other people that I ever worked with. And I was just like, they just take advantage of that instead of appreciating that and saying, oh man, this is a woman that's working hard. Let's respect her. And that's not to say they didn't respect her, because she worked with lots of great people who absolutely respected her. Even some of her biggest clients, I remember they would do kind things. They would try to reward her. They'd give her bonuses, and they'd be like, hey, check it out. I see how hard you're working. You and your fiance, y'all go out and have dinner on me tonight. I mean, they were super cool. It was just amazing. But there was other times they're like, I need this. And they really just pushed her to limits that I felt were not reasonable at all. And they just took advantage of her, and they felt like the kindness that they gave just made up for it. And a lot of times Kimberly felt that way too. She's like, well, look how much they do. Look how kind they are. And, it's crazy, because I know how it is in those small businesses, those small companies that are on the cusp of something huge, right? When you're on the cusp of something huge, you need all hands on deck. But it needs to sometimes be an open willingness, not a pushed into a situation, not hey, you work for me, this is what you're going to do kind of situation. It's hey, if I'm going to demand or expect you to work 60 hours a week, we're going to have a conversation about it. Things about to get crazy. I need you to, are you cool with working 60 hours a week? Is this going to, work out? You know what I mean? Just have a conversation. And so, like I said, it became when I got with Kimberly that I began to start looking at my life and her life professionally differently, because I wanted more for us, because I saw how she was overworked, and then she brought it to my attention, because I began to have discussions with her out of my love and protection of her. I was like, I don't like the way she's treated like that, and she's had many nursing jobs. And the thing is I've learned this in the 10 years, 10 and a half years-ish that Kimberly's been a nurse. I've witnessed so many. It's like nurses, typically, there's two kinds of nurses. The ones that are going to go all in, and they're going to be the ones that you call on, like Kimberly, and like a few of her friends that I've just seen. They got families, they got whatever, they got life going on. And some of them are single and they got not a lot going on. So they're just like, I'm making extra bread. It's all good, right? But they get worked like crazy, 9 days straight, 8 days straight, 12 days straight. And 12 days without a day off when your minimum shift is 12 hours, that's nuts, right? That's a lot. But I see them working those kind of hours because the other side, the flip side of that is the other nurses who won't put in any hours. They're like, I worked my schedule. We're shorthanded. That's somebody else's problem. I'm bouncing. Like, it's time for me to clock out. It doesn't matter that these patients haven't been dealt with, or taken care of, haven't been tended to. That one's over there laid up in bed, and they're a lift. They're a Hoyer. They need help to get out of that bed, and I'm not about to do it because, you know what? We're shorthanded. I'm walking. And they do that. And because the facilities are so shorthanded across the country, and it's mostly privately ran facilities that are like this. They're more shorthanded. But because of that, you got nurses that either don't put in the work or that put in way more than their share, right? Like I said, this is something that over time has made me look at my professional life and her professional life, and just how we should, if you're a single person, right? If you're a single person, you've got drive and ambition, and you're just like, I'm climbing this corporate ladder and I'm taking it all the way to the top, and I'll be at the top when I decide to have a family. Hey man, more power to you. That's cool. That's all right. But you got to remember that sometimes once you get to that top, even though you think it's like, I'm going to make it to the top, well, then once you have your family, sometimes people keep expecting you to give that level, right? And I think this isn't to frown upon corporate ladder or big business or anything like that, because I'm not against any of that. I'm not really. It's just about a matter of mindset. Like, is this what you really want? Do you really want to climb this ladder and be this person that's working in this big corporation? Do you want to be this person who's a lawyer and eats up countless hours of your day? Do you want to be a doctor and you're on call, 12 hours a day because this is what your dream was, because you feel like it's important? Or do you really want to take a step back and build something for yourself, so that way you have the freedom to be with your family? Now, I want you to take that not lightly, but for what it really is. Because some people have this misconception based on what you see on social media and stuff. It's like, I can work for myself so I can just be free, right? I can work for myself so my money is mine, right? I can work for myself and I can build my wealth instead of someone else's wealth. And this is, again, why I understand why, like, people like my mom and there's lots of people I know, family members, friends, they would rather have a job. They don't want a business. Not at all. They want a job because they know they can go clock in for 9 hours. They can go clock in for 6 hours, clock in for 8 hours. Even those who are working 12 hours, they're like, hey, I'm going to clock in for 4 12s and I'm going to have 3 days off every week. My kids got school. My wife's got a job. My wife's got hobbies. My husband's got a job. My husband's got hobbies. People got things going on. Those 4 days a week that I'm working 12-hour shifts, that's where I draw the line, right? There was a girl I knew for a while. She was super excited. She's like, I'm working 3/12s, 3. She's like, all I need is, I don't need 40 hours a week. 36 is more than plenty, for my lifestyle. So I get it, right? People are happy to do that because some people actually grasp that building a business and running a business is a lifestyle choice. Like, you give so much into that in order to get it growing, in order to get it developed, in order to get where you want to go. There's an incredible dude here that I know. He's actually our real estate agent that's here. And between him and, he runs multiple businesses. His family has multiple businesses. We're in Wyoming. His family's got business in Oregon. His family's got business in Texas. We've actually eaten at his family restaurant in Oregon. We knew of his family business down in Texas, and it was crazy that we met him here looking into real estate. But he owns a restaurant here, but he's an agent. He's a realtor. But his hands are in so many different things, and he's always running. He's always busy. And so, is that the life for you? It's like there are different businesses and different things that you can grow and develop, and you can kind of take a step back, take your hands out of the pot, and you can have people run it for you, or you can develop things like, this day and age, digital marketing and affiliate marketing. You can put certain things on autopilot. There's other things that you can do, investments, trading. But you've got to either have a high level of skill, or you've got to have the money to the capital to do stuff like that. And I'm talking about deep pocket, because if you have the level of money or you have the level of skill, then you can work a matter of a couple of hours a day, and you can set yourself up for the week or for the month or whatever. And then you can, now I don't got to keep watching this. I got a buddy who's an incredible trader. He works about an hour and a half a day. He works 4 days a week, an hour and a half a day trading. And he's like, I'm good, But like I said, you've got to get to that skill level. It took him about 9 years to really get to that level. But I mean, think about it. It's like how many people spend 9 years becoming a doctor or a lawyer, and then they work 12 hours a day, 8 hours a day, and 10 hours a day. It's like he spent 9 years while he was working as a contractor, a construction worker. He spent 9 years developing the skill set while he was doing that, feeding himself and his family, keeping a roof over their head, developing this skill, so that way he could turn that skill into his future. So it's like, ultimately, there's things that happen that take time. There's things that can happen pretty fast. It's just a matter of what it is you really want to do, and you've got to value your time differently. I had a business, I had a meeting when I had my uncle was actually launching a business. He was launching a business, and he was looking for investors, and he asked me to help him. And so I had a couple of people. He was in San Antonio, and I was in Austin, Texas. And so I had some people that I knew all meet up. I set up this big meeting, and I was like, hey, let's get together. Let's talk to these investors, right? And so I talked to them about the ideas and concepts of valuing your time, and if you could put a monetary value on a skill set that you're going to do, right? It's like, hey, look, to grow this business, I need to get this done. 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 How much is each one of these going to cost me? And is my time more valuable than that? Could I grow this business faster by hiring someone to do that? And see, these are the things that you also have to gauge as well, because if you can figure that out and see, well, my time is worth more than putting in the effort on that, and I could hire someone for cheaper than losing my time. And the way you value your time, I think I'll do a post on that next and dive deeper into it. But ultimately, it's the highest amount you can earn for an hour of your work. Highest amount you can earn for an hour of your work. So if you can figure that out, whatever business it is you're doing, the highest amount you can earn, then you see, well, how long is this going to take me? This is going to take me an hour. It's going to take me 4 hours. How much is it going to cost me? If you can earn more in the hour, then earn more and hire someone to do that. Because that just freed you up for an hour to either earn more or to spend time with your family. Like I said, it's ultimately about valuing your time more and just seeing more opportunities for you to be with the ones you love. I can look back in the last 11 years. I can tell you so many amazing, incredible memories with my wonderful wife, and I'm so thankful for all of them. But I can also see so many times where she was working too hard, or I was working too hard, or we were both working too much. And I don't know. I just always wish for more time with her and more time with our boys. Let's start thinking about money different. Let's start thinking about our time different. How do we value our time? That's it. Hey, I'm going to ask you to share this with someone because I think plenty more people need to hear this. This is kind of a longer post, so I hope I didn't lose you along the way. But for those that stuck around till the very end, I got nothing but love and respect and appreciate you. Y'all stay tuned. I got more for you. It's your boy, and I'm out.